And that's the story of one of our young volleyball aces and Frida Boke. Well, now time to talk about cricket. And over the weekend, we had the Women's Cricket League starting in Nairobi, and it is the Nairobi Provincial Cricket Association T20 Women's League. And joining us via Zoom in Nairobi is a person who can wear many hats, actually juggles very many hats. She's been a player in tennis, we've seen her play cricket, now umpiring cricket, and at the moment she's a coordinator for the NCPA T20, or rather the T10 League, 10 overs aside that involves 6 sides, started over the weekend. Lydia, very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Daniel. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Well, thank you for joining us. Even as you go through your day job, let's just start with the thought of bringing together these franchises together to play in the NCPA T20 Hardball League, which was being played at the Eastleigh High School and the Ruaraka Sports Club. Just the background of bringing this.
Sorry, Daniel, I lost you there. So this is going to be the first edition, and we did suggest that we could start with the T10, which is the first league that as NCPA is going to run. And I am glad to be coordinating that. And I am really happy to have all these ladies coming together to play for the first time in the NCPA league. And I'm sure it's going to be a very smooth league. And we are hoping to see some good cricket being played all around.
Mm-hmm. All right. So looking at the way the teams were selected, 6 franchises, what is the balance that you are looking for, knowing that this brings together a minimum of 72 to 8, a minimum of 75 players playing for different teams?
Yes, so we put up 7 teams of 15 players each. And what we've looked into is have the national team players spread out in all these teams, and also the under-19s who went for their qualifiers, because they're going to bring in experience and be able to teach, or rather, these other new players who are coming in would be able to learn from these national team players and gain the experience they deserve, because also we have youngsters who've started playing the hardball, and it's good to see them, because now when we have a range of players coming in to start playing in the junior team, building up to the under 15, it's going to be very easy to get players joining in under 19, and this means we have a lot of players to choose from when we want to select the national team. So it's a good thing. And I am really proud of all these players, and I'm proud to see some cricket being played all around. And we are hoping to see what this has in store for us.
Well, let's talk about actually the selection of the format T10, which is 10 overs a side, which means that you can have 2 matches played over a weekend. Why not the more conventional T20, 20 overs a side that we would see that we have seen now being played even at international level?
Because this is the first time we're doing it, our aim is to have these ladies play as many games as possible. We do know for sure that in the next season that we're coming through, we're going to play. But it's because we want to start the hardball league and see how it runs. And then from there, we're going to pick it up next season. And because the ladies will be going out to play the T20 qualifiers in September, I believe in Namibia, we wanted them to play different, like if you're batting, you're able to face different styles of bowling. So the more matches you play, the better chance of you meeting different bowlers for as many times as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you mentioned about that, and knowing that the shorter format of the game, they have quite explosive, high scoring, and how you react to that. What's the work being done first, to make sure that you've got those who can bat doing very well, I think I'm looking at one team known as Ndovu Power. That's where we've got Quinta Abel, who's captaining the side. We've seen her play, push that team very well. We've seen Mary, who's captain the national side, also being included in another of the franchises. How can you get these players now to, get adapted to aggressive batting before we even talk about how, the bowlers work around this? Looks like we've slightly lost Lydia Caparo from our Zoom link. She's in Nairobi, and she's taking us through the Nairobi T10 Women's League that is organized by the Nairobi Provincial Cricket Association. Teams that are participating in this event, you've got Twi Champs, Twiga Warriors, Farasi Force, Simba Titans, Kifaru Chargers, and Duma Strikers. So those are the teams that are taking place. The first matches were played over the weekend. Twi Champs against the Twiga Warriors and Farasi Force against the Simba Titans. And then at the Ruaraka Sports Club, we had the Kifaru Chargers playing against the Duma Strikers and Ndovu playing against Duma. 7 teams overall, all looking at that, and that's where they are. So if we've got Lydia back, Brian. So looks like we have lost Lydia, who was on Zoom telling us about the inaugural T10 Women's League, and it's meant to help the Kenyan women cricketers get their groove into the game and at the same time also prepare for the T20 African Championships and World Cup qualifiers that will be taking place in Namibia in the month of September. So this is all about development, bringing the youngsters. We've got those players who are from the under-19 setup who have all graduated. So we have got Lydia back. And Lydia, sorry for that break, but let's come back to you. And the question that I wanted to ask is, how do you help, our batters adapt to the explosive nature of T10 and T20 cricket through these tournaments?
Wahome, most of these players, by the time I was leaving, some of them were coming up, and I, being a manager, I've watched all these girls play, and also being part of the selection committee, I've watched them play throughout the NPCA League as a Kenya team, at the Kenya ladies team. So I have seen what the batters can do. I've seen what the bowlers have been able to do internationally and locally. So the idea of mixing them up and coming up with this T10 is to see these batters, if they have 10 overs left, for instance, in a T20 game, how well can they accelerate? If, for instance, 70 runs is needed in T10, how well can they bat? If they're given a target, will they be able to manage, or is it going to be too difficult for them? So this 10 overs also sets up the pace in terms of batting. You have to accelerate as fast as possible, because also the T20, you have to 11 players on the field and 10 can bat. So if you, for instance, an opposition side has got something like 150, and you pick your 10 or your 5 top batters, and you expect them to give you around maybe 90 runs. So their target would be to get as many boundaries as possible. So they are in a position to start accelerating from the over number 1. So this T10 is good. I think it's a good preparation for them as they set to go for the T20 qualifiers, because now, then again, they know, if I am needed to hit the balls within these few overs, will I be able to do it? And if you have the bowlers who also have a target of, for instance, getting maybe five batters out, how well do they plan their fielding positions? And for instance, if they require, maybe a bowler requires to get maybe 3 or 2 wickets in their 3 overs, will they be able to manage? So I think it's a good start for them, because this is you have less overs to play, and it's a challenge, which I think it's a good start for them to just well, they can articulate whatever they need to do within those few overs.
Well, let me just talk about the weekend and what you observed and things that you'd like, to be given back to the ladies who are playing this cricket from the 6 matches played from the 4 matches played over the weekend, where Chui played against Twiga, Farasi against Simba, and then you had Kifaru against Duma and Ndovu playing against Duma.
Yeah, that was also an interesting final. The under 40, I was there doing the commentary, and yes, the Kifaru Chargers. It was an interesting game. Chasing the console base only required 111 runs to win in that final. So they have their top 5, which actually they lost their top 3 batters very early, 8 runs and 3 wickets. We thought the game was going to change, but all they needed to do is just get singles. And we saw that in that final, having lost 5 wickets, their 5 batters the console-based batters needed to take charge and ensure that they don't lose those wickets, because the board had very few runs, and that means they just needed to take those singles and doubles. They didn't have to go for big shots. But anyway, if you get a full toss, if you get a bad ball, yes, you will hit. But yes, they did it. Having lost very early wickets, they were able to come through and just finish that game comfortably. So watching that and looking back at the games that I watched over the weekend for the girls, I saw the likes of Veronica Obuga, who made her 50. And she did hit that quick 50. And also Ruth Ambio chipped in with her 30s, Mary Wamboi with her 40s. So it's good to see these national team players taking charge. And, the rest of the upcoming players are able to learn from them, which is a very good thing to see.
All right. Closing word from you, a call to those who would like to take up the sport and, the efforts being put to ensure that, Kenya becomes a dominant force in women's cricket, not, starting with Africa.
I mean, sports is a very interesting and good career. I personally didn't know I would be able to wear so many caps. I've been all over in a couple of sports, but yes, cricket is a lovely sport. It was my last sport to learn, and it became my favorite sport. And I have seen the world. I've traveled. I've been able to meet so many people all over the world. I've been able to play in different grounds all over the world, which is a very good thing for me. And now taking up umpiring, a role which not so many would be courageous enough to take. I think it's a sport which can take you places, and indeed it can build a proper career for you. So I would encourage anybody who has the interest to take it up to do so. It's an interesting game, and you will continue loving it as much as you play. You will fall in love with it every day, and it can change lives. I have seen it change people's lives, and yes, indeed, it can change a lot of lives.
Thank you very much, Lydia Kaparo, who is the coordinator of the NCPA Women's T10 Hardball League. This is a cricket tournament played over 10 overs over the weekends and involves, at least 75 of the upcoming and also the senior women's players. Thank you very much, Lydia, for your time this morning. Have a good day, and we'll definitely be coming over to watch those matches. Well, let's continue with our conversation this morning. We expect to be somewhere at, with a national